Okay, we're going to look at the mallet for the pegboard today. So we're going to start a new part. I can either do it from here on this screen or go new and then select standard IPT part, create. Okay, so we're going to get started and we're going to make a rectangular sketch on the XY plane. So I'm going to make my rectangle, and you should have already drawn out your pegboard design, or the pegboard mallet design on your worksheet, so you're going to want to know where you're going to put your indentations. So according to the instructions, this dimension here should be 3 inches, because that's how tall our mallet's head is going to be. And it says that the diameter is 1.75 inches. Well, since we have the radius here, we're going to have to do some math, and if we do the math, it is 0.875 inches. Okay, that'll make a radius when it goes all the way around. That radius will make a diameter of 1.75 inches. So we have our basic shape here. I'm going to put it in the center. But now we need to make some cutouts so that the mallet doesn't just look like a cylinder. So in order to do so, I'm going to take some circles here. Center point circle. I'm going to put a circle here and a circle here. Okay, put them both on those lines. They're meshed with that farther line. Now, your dimension for your circle is going to vary depending on what you decided for your drawing. I'm going to make them about a 1/2 inch for me. So I'm going to dimension them about a 1/2 inch, okay, in diameter. I also want to make sure, though, that they are equally spaced from the two edges. So I'm going to go from here to here, and I'm just going to say, I think I want mine 1/2 inch there, which means from here, center point to here, I also want it to be 0.5 inches. Okay, so now that I've got that symmetrical, the problem is we've got the rest of this circle to deal with. So this is where we're going to go trim. This is a little scissor tool here. Put it into place. Okay, now what trim does is it's going to get rid of the parts we don't want. And it's going to get rid of them between points. So if I want to get rid of this part of the arc between this point and this point, I just click, and it's gone. Now, if I were to accidentally trim that, it wouldn't be a closed feature. So I'm going to trim this one out. Now when I've done that, I've got this nice arc cut into my rectangle. Okay, so then I'm going to go do the same down here. I'm going to trim off this part, this part. And now if you look at it, I have a finished profile for my mallet head. So I'm going to click Finish Sketch. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now, what I want to do is I want to rotate this around an axis to make the mallet head into a cylinder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Revolve, and I'm going to click Full because it needs to go around a full axis, and I'm going to click the axis. I need it revolved around there. Be careful which axis you use because it would be really interesting to use this one. If I revolve around there, that's going to make a design we don't want to see. So we're going to click OK out of that, go back, revolve. We're going to go around this axis. Click OK. Now the next part of the instructions says we want a chamfer on the edges of the mallet. Okay, so a chamfer is just a sloped area on the mallet. So we're going to make a chamfer on the edge here. But our instructions say it should be 1/16 of an inch, so we're going to change that to 0.0625, because that's 1/16. I'm going to click OK. We'll do the same thing. It even pulls up chamfer. Click OK. Now I have chamfer on each end. Now if you want to be fancy, you could probably put one here too. If you wanted to make it really fancy, that's up to you. Okay. I'm going to click Apply. Now I have everything I need. I've got my mallet looking head here, except I need a hole to put the handle in. So this is where it gets tricky. What we're going to do is we're going to put a new Workplane on. Just like we had a Workplane when we did the edges of the pegboard toy itself. So I'm going to click Plane. Then I'm going to come over here to Origin, and I'm going to click the YZ. When I click on it, you can see it's up and down tangent to the mallet head. So I'm going to click on it, but you can also see the part of the mallet head sticking through the Workplane. And I don't want that. So I'm going to click on an edge here, which moves the work plane out to the edge tangent to the mallet head. So if I spin it, you can see that it's tangent to the mallet head. It's straight up and down to the mallet head. Okay, I'm going to spin that back so I can see it now. Now we need to be able to draw on here. So I'm going to start a 2D sketch, and I'm going to click right up on the edge of my work plane. That's going to get it started. Okay, now I want to project my geometry so I can see the underneath part of the mallet head. Now that I can see that, I want to make a point. This point needs to be in between these two lines here. It needs to be perfectly centered between this line and this line. So I'm just going to dimension it to see what that distance is. It says 1.5 inches. It won't accept it because I've already put those dimensions in anyway. I just wanted to see what the dimension was. So I'm going to put a point, and then I'm going to make sure my point is halfway, which would be 0.75 inches. Okay, so now I've got a point on my mallet. So I'm going to finish sketch. Zoom back out here, go to the home button. Okay, now since I hate seeing all these work planes, I'm going to right click in here and I'm going to turn the visibility off. So now, what I'm also going to do is I am going to put a hole right here. Let's see if I can get that project geometry off too. Okay, I'm going to project a loop, visibility off. Okay, actually I need the visibility on to find the point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hole here right on that point. Now your worksheet shows you exactly what needs to be on that hole. So according to the hole, it says it's going to be from sketch, from one center on the point we had. Now, it needs to go a distance, okay, and I want it to be 0.875 inches deep, okay. I also want it to be 0.625 across, okay. That's 5/8 of an inch. Now, if I look down over here, though, I want it to be threaded. So this is a straight through hole, it's a clearance hole, so I'm going to do tapped hole, which means threading. Okay, then I'm going to come down and make sure all my settings are right here. I have the ANSI unified screw threads, 0.625, 2B, 5/8-11, and it's a right-handed. So I'm going to click OK, and now I have my hole. But look at that, interesting, it went all the way through. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to go back and modify it because it did not do, for some reason, just a distance. So I'm going to right click on it, go edit feature. Okay, it made some changes up here after I did some stuff down there. So I'm going to change these back to the way they were. So 0.875, and then I'm going to go 0.625, and then I'm going to click OK. Now it looks like we have the correct depth, and you can see how it's got the screw threads on here so that when we put the threads on our mallet handle, we will be able to connect the two together. Okay, now what you need to do is save it, and make sure when you save it into your pegboard. So I'm going to go save. I'm going to save it as mallet in my pegboard and turn it in. All right, thank you.